Elon Musk sat at his sleek, modern desk, eyes locked on the employee feedback reports that lay before him. His fingers hovered over the screen, scrolling through the responses, brutally honest and raw. Some comments praised Tesla's groundbreaking mission, but many others were filled with frustration and unease. Long hours, lack of clear direction from leadership, overwhelming expectations. A subtle pang of unease tightened in his chest. He'd always believed in pushing boundaries and challenging the norm, but the words on these reports hit differently. Could it be that in his quest for innovation, he had lost touch with the very people who were bringing his vision to life? The feedback, though candid, wasn't unfamiliar. Elon had heard whispers of discontent before, yet this felt different. His employees, the ones toiling day and night to turn Tesla's audacious goals into reality, seemed to be running on fumes, their spirits slowly fading. Was the very culture he had cultivated, one of high intensity and constant pressure, ultimately undermining the very thing that made Tesla great? The commitment of its people? Elon's mind raced as he thought about the issue. He could order changes from the top down, new initiatives, more perks, extra incentives, but he knew that wouldn't cut it. To truly understand, to truly make a difference, he needed to experience it firsthand. He needed to see Tesla from their perspective. But how could he do that? A sudden idea struck him, an audacious yet potentially brilliant one. What if he could go undercover, become one of them, an intern in the very department that was under the most pressure? He could see firsthand what it was like to work on the ground floor of Tesla. If he truly wanted to understand his employees' concerns, he would need to walk in their shoes, work alongside them, and learn what needed to change. The next day, he made his decision. A week later, a new intern appeared at Tesla's production facility. His name was Eli Mason, a fresh-faced college graduate eager to join the innovative company. Eli was an unassuming figure, dark brown hair, a neatly trimmed beard, and thick glasses that gave him a slightly nerdy look. His appearance, though entirely ordinary, was carefully crafted to be forgettable. Elon had taken great pains to alter his usual look. Different clothing, subtle prosthetics, and a shift in his usual cadence of speech. Eli Mason was not Elon Musk. He was just another eager intern in a world of hard-working employees, someone who would blend in seamlessly. Eli's first day was nothing like what he had expected. He had imagined a modern, cutting-edge facility, buzzing with energy and creativity, but what he found was something else. The factory floor was chaotic, a whirlwind of noise, machinery, and robotic arms working at breakneck speed. Workers hustled from station to station, their faces focused, determined. The sheer pace was overwhelming. His supervisor, a stern-looking man named Jake, barely glanced at him before handing him a checklist of tasks. There was no welcome, no guidance, just an unspoken expectation to fall in line. "Follow these tasks. Don't slow anyone down," Jake grunted. "And if you have questions, ask a coworker, not me." Eli nodded, determined to keep up. He was handed over to a technician named Maria, who would show him the ropes. Maria was patient, explaining the intricacies of the production line, showing him the ropes as he fumbled through his tasks. Despite the overwhelming pressure, Maria remained calm, encouraging. "First day, huh?" she asked as Eli awkwardly maneuvered a heavy wrench into place. "Yeah," Eli said, wiping sweat from his forehead. "Seems intense." Maria chuckled. "It's Tesla. We live and breathe intensity. You'll get used to it." As the days went on, Eli quickly began to understand the brutal reality of working at Tesla. The hours were long, far longer than he had anticipated. Workers rarely had time to catch their breath, and when they did, their breaks were short and fleeting. He noticed how his co-workers spoke about the company's mission with pride, but there was a tension in their voices, a weariness that couldn't be ignored. They admired the vision, but they also felt like cogs in an ever-turning machine. The expectations were high, always high. Elon's push for excellence had filtered down into every facet of the company. The pressure was palpable, sometimes even suffocating. Workers pushed themselves to their limits, but there was a sense that no matter how hard they worked, it was never enough. Eli overheard whispers during breaks between workers who had clearly reached their breaking points. "Another guy quit today," Jake, the supervisor, muttered to another manager one evening. "That's the third one this month." "Can't blame him," the other manager replied, sounding resigned. "We work like crazy, and upper management just expects more and more. It's like we're machines, not people." The words stung. Eli's chest tightened, and he realized just how much of this pressure came from the very leadership he had built. Could it be that his relentless pursuit of progress had inadvertently crushed the spirits of the people who made it all possible? That night, in his small utilitarian intern dorm, Eli sat on the edge of his bed, scribbling in his notebook. His mind was buzzing. He had come here to learn, to understand, and now he had seen the truth. He couldn't just stand by and accept it. There were changes that needed to be made, but before he could enact those changes, he needed to understand more. A month passed. Eli had made a habit of observing, listening, and reflecting. Every day he found new ways to connect with his coworkers, learning their struggles, their hopes, their frustrations. As much as he wanted to do something, he knew he had to be patient. The right moment would come. One evening, after a grueling shift, Eli gathered a small group of employees in a break room, just a few of the people he had worked with closely over the past month. Maria, Jake, and a few others sat around him, puzzled by the late-night meeting. Eli looked around at their faces, tired, skeptical, but open. "Guys," he began, his voice steady but filled with urgency, "I have to confess something. This whole time, I haven't been who I said I was." The room fell eerily silent. Maria's eyes widened. Jake's expression shifted from confusion to suspicion. "I'm not Eli Mason," Eli continued, a wry smile playing on his lips. "I'm Elon Musk." A collective gasp rippled through the room. It was as if the ground had shifted beneath them. For a long moment, no one said anything. They simply stared at him, trying to process what they were hearing. Maria's jaw dropped, but she didn't speak. Jake crossed his arms, his expression unreadable. "I did this," Elon said, "because I wanted to understand the company from your perspective. I wanted to know what it's really like to work at Tesla, and I've learned a lot." He paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. "I see how hard you work. I see the pressure, and I know I need to do better. You all deserve better." Jake narrowed his eyes, clearly skeptical. "So, what now? You just make some promises and everything changes?" Elon looked him straight in the eye, unwavering. "Number, I don't just promise. I'm going to make real changes. We're going to do better. Better work-life balance, better communication from leadership, more support for the people who are the backbone of this company." The room was quiet. There was disbelief in the air, but also something else, a flicker of hope. Maria, breaking the silence, finally spoke, her voice softer than usual. "Well, Elon, or should I say Eli, this better not be another empty promise?" Elon nodded solemnly. "It's not. I mean it." And with that, Elon Musk, the intern turned undercover boss, knew that his mission had only just begun. There was much work to be done, but for the first time in a long while, he had hope. Not just for Tesla's future, but for the people who had given everything to make that future a reality. The journey ahead would be long, but it was a journey he was ready to take, one step at a time. And this time, he wouldn't be doing it alone.